Hey guys, tonight we begin with a calm journey into something hidden beneath our everyday world. Something you have used, felt, and lived with in ways you might not even realize. Before we step into it, I want you to get comfortable, settle into your bed or wherever you are resting, and take a slow breath in. Let it out gently. Let your shoulders drop a little. If you enjoy these peaceful bedtime stories, where we explore forgotten pieces of history and quiet corners of the financial world, feel free to like the video and subscribe, but only if it genuinely feels right to you. And if you want to share, tell me in the comments where you are listening from and what time it is for you. It is always comforting to know that people from different places are here together, winding down at the same moment. Now, before we begin, I want you to do something simple. Go ahead and place your device beside you. You do not need to look at the screen anymore. Let your eyes soften. Let your hands relax. Just listen to the sound of my voice. Close your eyes fully now. Let the outside world fade a little. Let the brightness behind your eyelids settle into a gentle darkness. Feel the bed supporting you. Feel the air resting against your skin. Tonight's story is not loud or intense. It is meant to drift, to unfold slowly, like a quiet tale shared by an old teacher who speaks gently while you relax at the end of a long day. You do not need to focus too hard. You can simply float along with the sound of the words. Tonight, we explore something called the forgotten currency that secretly built the modern world. It is not a dramatic treasure, not a lost empire, not a mysterious relic in a dusty room. It is something far simpler and far more influential. A form of money that vanished long ago, yet left its fingerprints on every system of trade, every global connection, and every part of the economy we live with today. This story is soft and slow. You will not need to memorize anything or try to understand complex ideas. Just imagine a world long before screens and wires and tall buildings. Imagine marketplaces made of wooden stalls, fields stretching out beyond the horizon, and people trading goods with the simplest of tools. Out of that quiet world grew a currency that no longer exists but shaped the laws, habits, and systems that define how money works today. As you listen, feel free to drift as far or as lightly as your mind wants to drift. If your thoughts wander, that is perfectly fine. You can let them wander like clouds moving across a warm sky. My voice will still be here, steady and calm, guiding you gently through this forgotten path in history. In a moment, we will begin chapter 1. Think of it like opening an old book with soft pages that smell faintly of time. A book that whispers rather than shouts. A book that takes your hand and leads you through worlds that no longer exist, yet still live quietly under everything you know. Let your breathing slow down now, in and out, calmly, naturally. Let the muscles in your face relax. Let your jaw hang loose and comfortable. Feel the weight of your blankets. Feel the stillness around you. You are here, safe, resting, relaxing. You do not need to do anything at all. Just listen. Just drift. Just be present in this moment as we step into a story that shaped the world without ever meaning to. When you are ready, very gently, let your breath fall into a soft rhythm and let your mind settle as we begin our journey. Chapter 1. A quiet beginning in the ancient marketplace. As your eyes remain closed and your body sinks a little deeper into comfort, I want you to imagine a very old world. A world without lights buzzing in the distance, without cars or screens or anything that pulls your attention away. A peaceful early morning breeze moves across a quiet valley, and a warm, gentle sun is rising over low hills that look as if they were drawn with a soft brush. In this calm world, there is a small marketplace. Nothing grand, no tall stone structures or polished floors, just a few wooden stalls arranged in a loose circle. The air smells of earth and grain. People move slowly, without hurry, as if time itself is a patient companion rather than something to chase. You can picture them walking across the packed dirt, their footsteps soft and steady, blending into the natural rhythm of the day. This is where our forgotten currency begins, not with kings or empires or great declarations, but with ordinary people who simply needed a way to trade. Farmers with baskets of barley, shepherds with wool, potters carrying cups and bowls they shaped with their own hands. Everything here feels small and familiar, like a memory you never had but somehow understand. In this little marketplace, money as we know it does not quite exist yet. People trade goods directly, a handful of grain for a piece of cloth, a pot for a loaf of bread. It works, but it is slow, and sometimes one person needs something the other cannot offer, so they begin searching for something else, something that all of them could agree on, something easy to carry, easy to measure, and simple enough for everyone to understand. The currency that becomes their answer is not shiny or impressive. It is not carved or printed. It is something much humbler, something widely available, something that seems insignificant when you hold it in your hand. Yet this small thing will quietly begin shaping how humans think about value. And though it will eventually fade away, the ideas it plants in the minds of these early traders will keep growing for thousands of years. Imagine yourself standing among them. You hear gentle chatter. You feel the warmth of the sun growing slowly stronger. You sense the smallness of the world, yet also the beauty of its simplicity. The marketplace is peaceful, unhurried, and full of life, but a quiet change is happening. People begin to choose this forgotten currency not because it is powerful or rare, but because it makes their lives easier. It helps them settle trades without argument. It gives them a calm sense of certainty. It becomes a tool of trust. Picture a young merchant who has traveled from a nearby village. He carries a small pouch filled with the currency. Nothing heavy, nothing fragile. Just a soft rattle when he moves. He unties the pouch, reaches in, and offers a small handful to a woman selling woven cloth. She accepts it without hesitation, not because the object is valuable on its own, but because both of them agree that it represents value. In that moment, something new enters their world, a shared belief, a quiet understanding, a step toward the larger financial systems we know today. As you imagine this scene, let yourself relax even more deeply. Feel the slowness of their lives. Feel the way everything moves at a gentle pace. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is forced. Even the creation of this currency feels natural, like the slow growth of a tree or the quiet flow of a river. It does not announce itself. It simply becomes part of their days. You can picture the traders closing their stalls at the end of the day. The sky turns a warm shade of gold, then soft orange, then a tender blue. Children run across the open field near the market, laughing gently as the light fades. Animals settle into their pens. The early stars begin to appear one by one like tiny lanterns waking up in a dark room. And inside small homes built of clay and straw, people place this currency in little bowls or cloth bags. They do not think of it as history. They do not imagine that people many centuries later will examine its impact. To them, it is simply a helpful part of life, a practical solution, a tool created by their own needs. Yet slowly, quietly, it becomes something much larger. It begins shaping how humans measure value, how they trust one another, and how they organize their societies. Take a gentle breath. Imagine the warmth of a small fire glowing inside one of those ancient homes. The flame flickers softly. A family sits together, eating a simple meal. The currency rests nearby, untouched for now, waiting for the next day's trading. No one speaks of it with excitement. No one marvels at it. It is just there, like a silent companion, offering convenience and clarity in a world that often feels uncertain. This is how the forgotten currency began. Not with noise or celebration, but with quiet acceptance, with ordinary people who needed a gentle solution to everyday problems, with a marketplace that never imagined its own importance. As you stay relaxed, let this image remain soft in your mind. A calm world, a simple solution, a beginning that was never meant to be grand, but ended up shaping the foundations of the modern economy. The story starts in silence, just like the way sleep often arrives, slowly, softly, without you noticing the exact moment it begins. Chapter 2. How something so small became so powerful. Keep your eyes closed and stay comfortable as we move gently into the next part of our story. You are still in that ancient world, where mornings begin with quiet footsteps and the soft rustle of traders preparing for the day. The forgotten currency sits within small pouches, resting lightly, almost unnoticed. It does not look special. It is not rare or sparkling. It carries no symbol of kings or gods. Yet the people begin to treasure it in their own simple way. The magic of this currency is not in its material. It is in the agreement behind it. People from different villages begin to understand that trading is easier when they use the same thing to measure value. Imagine two shepherds standing under the shade of an old tree, talking calmly as the breeze moves through the leaves. They both use the same small pieces of this currency, and for the first time, they feel a sense of fairness, that it does not depend on negotiating every detail. It gives them peace and confidence, and soon, word begins to spread. As the seasons pass, more traders adopt it. A potter who once struggled to sell his bowls now finds it easier to exchange them. A farmer with too much grain and not enough cloth can finally make simple, clear trades. Travelers bring it from town to town, not with pride or excitement, but because it makes their long journey smoother. It becomes a language that everyone can understand, even without speaking the same words. The power of this forgotten currency grows quietly, like a soft ripple spreading across a still pond. At first, it is only a local habit, something known in a handful of villages, but habits travel. When a merchant from a distant town sees how calmly and efficiently people trade with this small item, he carries it back home and shows others. They too begin using it. Before long, markets many miles apart rely on the same tiny unit of value. This slow spread is what makes the currency so important. It does not conquer. It does not command. It simply fits into the flow of life. People adopt it because it feels natural, because it gives them a sense of order in a world where so much is unpredictable. A storm could destroy crops. A journey could take much longer than expected. But this currency remains steady, a quiet anchor that helps people navigate the uncertainties around them. Picture yourself walking through a market that has grown slightly larger now. New faces appear. New goods arrive from distant regions. There is still the same gentle pace, the same calm conversations, the same warm light. But something has changed. There is a feeling of connection now. A trader from a faraway hill village can buy a basket of figs without struggling to convince the seller of his item's worth. Both people simply reach for the familiar currency. The exchange is clean and calm. Trust appears where confusion once lived. The value of the currency grows not just in convenience, but in its effect on people's minds. For the first time, they begin to think of wealth not just as physical objects, but as something that can be stored, carried, and counted. They begin thinking about saving, about planning, about preparing for future seasons. These ideas might sound simple to us now, but back then they were incredibly new, and they were made possible by something so small that most people today would overlook it completely. As you continue to relax, imagine the rhythm of time in that world. Days begin with the soft glow of dawn and end with a sky full of quiet stars. Through it all, the forgotten currency travels from hand to hand, shaping the thoughts and decisions of people who never realize they are building the foundation for the modern economy. They are not lawmakers or scholars. They are just individuals making practical choices in peaceful moments. The currency gains power not because of force, but because of acceptance. And acceptance grows because it makes life easier. Even now, when you think about the money you use each day, much of its strength comes from the same quiet belief that once passed through those ancient villages. A belief in shared value, a belief in fairness, a belief in something simple that everyone agrees to trust. Take a slow breath in, let it out gently. Feel the way this story moves at a quiet pace, just like the growth of the currency itself. Nothing dramatic happens. No armies march, no kings declare anything. Instead, change arrives in the form of small decisions repeated by thousands of hands until the entire region begins to feel the shift. By the time the sun sets on this chapter of the world, the forgotten currency has become more than a helpful tool. It has become a bridge between communities, a soft thread tying people together. And though it still looks small and ordinary, its influence is beginning to grow in ways that will eventually shape the systems we rely on today. Chapter 3. The traders who carried the world on their backs. Stay relaxed, keep your eyes closed, and let your breathing settle into an easy rhythm. As we move into the next part of this quiet story, imagine the world expanding just a little. The small villages and tiny markets we visited before are still there, peaceful and unchanged. But now we begin to follow the people who traveled beyond them, the traders, the wanderers, the ones who walk softly across long stretches of earth, carrying the very beginnings of the world's first financial system in small pouches and woven bags. These travelers were not powerful figures or wealthy leaders. Most of them were ordinary people with steady steps and patient hearts. They walked with pack animals or simple carts, moving slowly through valleys, along riverbanks, and over gentle hills. Their journeys were quiet and often lonely, filled with long hours of peaceful silence, broken only by the sound of wind pushing through tall grass, or the soft crunch of dirt beneath their feet. The forgotten currency traveled with them. It was light, easy to carry, and easy to count. This made it perfect for people who spent days, sometimes weeks, far from home. Each trader carried a small amount, not because it was precious, but because it made their lives smoother. Wherever they went, they found others who recognized the currency. It had become a shared language of value, and it allowed these travelers to connect with people they had never met before. Picture one of these traders now. Maybe a young man with sun-darkened skin and a calm smile. He walks at a steady pace, guiding a small donkey that carries baskets filled with pottery. The day is warm, but not uncomfortable. A quiet breeze moves across the fields, He hums softly to himself, enjoying the rhythm of the journey. When he reaches a distant village, he is welcomed by familiar sights. Children playing near the well, women weaving mats in the shade, men tending to their animals or repairing tools. He sets up his pottery beneath a simple cloth canopy. People come to look at his bowls, cups, and jars. They admire the smooth surfaces and the soft designs etched into them. Some decide to buy. They reach into their small pouches and offer the forgotten currency, and the young trader accepts it with a peaceful nod. There is no confusion, no bargaining that lasts for hours. The shared understanding of value makes everything calm and predictable. These gentle interactions happen everywhere the traders go. A woman traveling with wool blankets, a man carrying baskets filled with dried figs, a group of friends transporting salt from a region far away. All of them carry the same small currency, and because of that, they can trade with ease in any place they visit. As you picture these scenes, let your mind drift lightly over the landscapes they cross. Imagine wide open plains where the horizon feels endless. Imagine narrow forest paths where sunlight slips through branches like thin ribbons. Imagine quiet river crossings where the water glimmers and reflects the soft sky. The traders move through all of this, unhurried and peaceful, carrying the seeds of an economic system that will one day influence empires. The power of the forgotten currency grows not because it is forced upon anyone, but because people experience its usefulness through these travelers. The traders become the gentle messengers of value, linking distant worlds with each step they take. Every village they visit adopts the currency a little more eagerly. Every new region they pass through begins to trust it. Little by little, the currency spreads across vast territories, carried on the backs of people who simply wanted to make their journey smoother. Think about how soft this kind of change is. There are no loud announcements or grand events, just footsteps, just conversations under warm sunlight, just quiet exchanges at simple markets near rivers and fields. Yet from these peaceful interactions, the early foundations of global trade begin to form. The traders themselves rarely realize what they are doing. To them, the currency is only a tool that makes life easier. But in reality, they are shaping the world. Every time they hand over a small handful of that forgotten currency, they help build a network of trust that will outlive entire civilizations. Take a moment and breathe deeply. Imagine sitting beside a campfire with a group of these travelers at night. The fire flickers softly. The air is cool and smells faintly of smoke. The traders share stories of the places they have seen and the people they have met. They laugh quietly, their voices low and warm. The forgotten currency sits in a small bowl between them, waiting for the next day's trades. No one treats it like a treasure. It is simply part of their lives, as familiar as the fire, the stars, and the steady rhythm of the road. As they sleep beneath the open sky, wrapped in simple blankets, the currency rests in their pouches, ready to continue its journey at sunrise. These gentle travelers will carry it to new villages and new regions, spreading stability and shared understanding wherever they go. This is how the forgotten currency crosses great distances, not through power or force, but through the quiet footsteps of traders who connect the world without ever intending to. Chapter 4. The Secret Financial Web. It accidentally created. Keep your eyes closed and let your breath move in a slow, steady rhythm as we enter the next part of our quiet journey. The forgotten currency has traveled far now. It has passed through valleys, through long stretches of open plains, and through gentle forests filled with birdsong. It has rested in countless small pouches and simple clay bowls. It has helped strangers understand one another. It has made life easier for farmers, potters, shepherds, and travelers. But something even more important is happening. Something calm and quiet, almost invisible. A web is forming. Not a physical web, but a web of understanding. A web of connection. A web of trust that stretches across the ancient world without anyone fully realizing it. Imagine standing on a hill at dawn, overlooking many villages scattered across the land. Each village wakes up slowly. Smoke rises from cooking fires. People yawn and stretch as they begin their daily routines. If you could look deep into each home, you would see small pieces of the forgotten currency stored safely, maybe in a woven basket, maybe in a pouch tied with soft string, or maybe wrapped in cloth to keep it clean. None of these people know each other. They have never spoken, never traded, never visited one another's markets. Yet without meeting, they have become connected. They have all agreed quietly and naturally to trust the same symbol of value. And through this agreement, an unseen network has grown. Think of this web as a soft thread stretching from one village to another, then from that village to a city beyond it, then from that city to the next. These threads do not tug or pull. They simply exist, forming a gentle map of shared belief. Even though no one can see it, the web of connections becomes the beginning of what we now call an economy. All of it starts with this small currency that no longer exists today. Picture a trader arriving in a new town that sits near a broad river. The water flows slowly, reflecting the soft morning light. The trader greets a local fisherman. They do not know each other, but they recognize the currency instantly. The trader offers a small amount to pay for a basket of fresh fish. The fisherman nods, accepting it without hesitation. Two strangers become part of a peaceful agreement that spans hundreds of miles. These interactions repeat over and over, like calm ripples on a pond spreading outward after a tiny pebble is dropped in. Each trade strengthens the web. Each exchange builds another layer of trust. The beauty of this web is that it grows quietly. There are no records written in stone, no proclamations carved into walls, no rulers boasting about grand achievements. Instead, there are only simple people making gentle choices every day, choices that slowly build something larger than themselves. As you stay relaxed, imagine walking through a larger market now. It is still peaceful, still slow, but more people gather than before. Goods come from faraway places. You see honey from mountain hives. You see dried fruits from distant deserts. You see woven cloth dyed with colors found only in remote regions. Every item carries a story of the person who made it and the journey it took to reach this place. When buyers approach with the forgotten currency in hand, they do not think about how remarkable this system is. They simply pay. They exchange small pieces for useful items, just as we do today. But without knowing it, each of them is helping shape how future civilizations will trade, store value, and manage wealth. The currency does something else too, something subtle. It brings stability. People begin planning their lives more confidently. If they work hard, they know their currency will hold value tomorrow. If they save a little, they know they can rely on it during a difficult season. These quiet improvements change how people think about time itself. Instead of focusing only on the present, they begin to imagine the future. Picture a family sitting together at the end of a long day. The sky outside turns soft shades of purple and blue. A quiet fire burns in the center of the room. They talk about planting more seeds next season, or building a larger storage jar for grain. Their plans feel achievable because the currency gives their world predictability. A stable measure of value means they no longer fear every shift or surprise. They can rest in the idea that tomorrow will not drift too far from today. This simple confidence becomes the foundation for something bigger. When enough families feel secure, they begin investing more in their communities. They build new stalls in the markets. They repair old roads. They create spaces for gatherings and festivals. The web grows stronger because people believe in the future. Now picture a group of traders meeting on a quiet road at sunset. They greet each other with friendly smiles. They share water and stories from their travels. As they talk, they casually compare the prices of goods in different regions, using the forgotten currency as their guide. Without realizing it, they are building one of the earliest forms of market information. When one trader moves on to the next town and shares what he learned, he strengthens the web again, making trade easier for everyone who comes after him. This quiet exchange of knowledge becomes just as valuable as the currency itself. It helps people understand fairness, supply, demand, and the natural flow of goods. Over time, these small insights evolve into the earliest economic patterns. Take a slow breath in. Let it out gently. Imagine how calm this world feels, how simple yet meaningful every small action is. No one is trying to control this system. No one is trying to dominate or manipulate it. It is growing on its own, guided by human need and mutual understanding. The forgotten currency becomes the heart of this web, pulsing gently with each trade, each handshake, each quiet moment of agreement. Without being forced, without being celebrated, it becomes the quiet architect of stability. This web will eventually grow so large and so interconnected that it will shape systems still used today, all from something small enough to fit in the palm of your hand. Chapter 5. Echoes of the past in the money we use today. Stay settled, keep your eyes closed, and allow your breathing to remain slow and comfortable. As we enter this next chapter, imagine the ancient world around you growing a little quieter, as if time itself is pausing, so you can see the deeper meaning behind all these gentle exchanges. The forgotten currency we have been following still moves from hand to hand, still rests in simple pouches, still lies beside fires at night, but now its influence is beginning to shape something far beyond the small communities that first used it. Even though the world we live in today looks nothing like those early villages, their ideas continue to echo through our lives. Every time you buy something at a store, or check a bank balance, or think about saving or planning, you are feeling the faint traces of a system that began with that tiny currency. It may have faded from the earth long ago, but the quiet lessons it taught survived, passing from generation to generation like a whisper. Imagine a person standing in a modern city. Tall buildings rise around them. Lights glow softly in every direction. Cars move slowly through the streets. In their pocket, they carry money that looks completely different from the ancient currency. It might be paper, it might be metal, it might not even be physical, just numbers glowing on a screen. Yet beneath all those differences, the same ideas remain. Value, trust, shared belief, a system of exchange built on something simple and agreed upon. These are the same principles that early farmers and traders discovered without any formal instruction. They learned that money works not because of what it is made from, but because people choose to believe in it together. The forgotten currency taught them that stability comes from cooperation, that fairness comes from clear measurement, that connection comes from shared understanding. Let yourself relax deeper as you picture that modern person in the city. They might be buying groceries, paying rent, saving for something important, checking how much they have left before the next paycheck. Every one of those actions reflects ideas that were quietly shaped by ancient hands, ideas carried by traders across soft earth, ideas formed in simple markets where people trusted something small to represent value. Now return your imagination to the ancient world. Picture the people there using the currency with no awareness of what they were creating. They did not know what banks were. They had no idea what interest rates meant. They did not plan to invent global trade. They simply needed a peaceful way to exchange goods. Yet from that need, the first outlines of a financial system appeared. These outlines still exist today. They guide the way money moves around the globe. They influence how countries trade, how people work, how communities grow. Every modern financial decision, from the smallest purchase to the biggest investment, carries a soft shadow of that early idea. Think for a moment about how remarkable that is. Something so small, something now forgotten, has shaped the daily lives of billions of people. You feel its presence even when you do not think about it. Just as ancient families felt the convenience of saving a little currency for future seasons, people today save for emergencies, for education, for dreams they hope to reach one day. The pattern is the same, carried across centuries of human experience. Take a slow breath. Feel the way your chest rises gently. Let it fall softly. Allow the simplicity of this idea to settle into your mind. Money has always been more than coins and numbers. It has always been a story people believe in together. And the forgotten currency was the first chapter of that story. Imagine the ancient traders once more. They stand in peaceful markets where the air carries the scent of fresh grain and warm earth. They talk softly, count the currency carefully, and make trades that bring calm to their lives. Without realizing it, they are teaching future generations how to value, how to trust, and how to plan. Each tiny piece of currency they pass along is like a seed, and from those seeds, the entire tree of modern finance eventually grows. Now picture that tree in your mind. Its roots reach deep into the ancient world. Its branches stretch across continents, filled with the financial systems we use today. Banks, marketplaces, digital transactions, savings accounts, investments. All of these are just later branches of a seed first planted in those quiet early markets. Let your breath stay slow and smooth as you reflect on this gentle connection between past and present. Even though the forgotten currency no longer exists, it lives on in a different form. It lives in the way money works today. It lives in the choices people make. It lives in the calm understanding that value can be shared by millions of strangers who trust the same system. This connection is soft, almost invisible, yet it holds the modern world together. Every purchase, every trade, every decision made with money is a quiet echo of those ancient exchanges. And just like the traders who once carried the currency across long journeys, modern people carry the same principles with them wherever they go. As you remain relaxed and comfortable, feel how peaceful this story is. The forgotten currency never knew its future. The people who used it simply lived their lives. Yet their small actions shaped a system that would guide humanity all the way to the present day. Chapter 6. The currency fades, but its influence grows. Keep your eyes closed. Stay nestled in whatever position feels most gentle, and allow your breath to flow slowly and naturally. As we move into this next chapter, imagine the ancient world changing very, very gradually. Nothing sudden, nothing loud. just the quiet passage of time, the way seasons drift into one another without effort. The forgotten currency that once felt so vital continues to pass through familiar hands. Traders still carry it in their pouches. Families still save it in small clay jars. Villages still use it at peaceful markets where the air smells of grain and warm earth. But slowly, almost without anyone noticing, the world around it begins to shift. More people are born. Villages become towns. Towns grow busier. Roads become more traveled. New goods arrive from faraway places. These gentle, natural changes begin to shape the way people think about value. New forms of money appear in distant regions, some made of metal, some marked with symbols, some created by leaders who want to show their influence. Compared to these new forms, the forgotten currency may seem too simple, too ordinary. Yet even as other currencies rise, people still remember the trust they built with the old one. They remember the calmness it brought. They remember how it allowed strangers to understand each other. They remember how it helped them imagine the future and plan their lives. Even if they no longer use it every day, the habits it created remain strong. Picture a bustling market that has grown larger than the ones we have visited before. More stalls line the open space. More voices fill the air. The forgotten currency still appears here and there, but alongside it are new coins with images stamped carefully into the surface. People accept both for a while. Then slowly, naturally, the new coins become more common. No one decides this. No announcement is made. It is simply another gentle step forward in the long story of human exchange. Imagine a group of elders sitting together in the evening. They talk quietly about how different the world feels. They remember the early days when trading depended on simple agreements, when the forgotten currency carried the weight of trust. They do not mourn its fading because to them it lives on in the stability it created. They see the new forms of money as an extension of what they once learned. As the years continue to pass, the forgotten currency finally slips out of daily use. The new generations may never hold it in their hands. They may know it only as a story, something their grandparents mention on quiet nights. But the systems built around it remain. The structure it introduced becomes the foundation for everything that follows. Let yourself sink deeper into relaxation as you picture this quiet transition. Nothing dramatic happens. The currency does not disappear suddenly. It simply becomes less necessary as new ideas form. But its influence never fades. It has planted its roots deep into the way people think about value, fairness, and stability. Imagine communities now connected by more than just trade. They share information more easily. They plan for larger projects. They create gathering places, build stronger homes, and develop better ways to measure goods. All of this is possible because the forgotten currency once taught them how to cooperate. The traders who once carried it across soft earth gradually adopt the new forms of money too. They still travel along familiar routes, still speak with gentle kindness, still connect distant regions with simple conversations and quiet exchanges. But now their pouches contain a mix of old and new. Over time, the old pieces become fewer and fewer, until one day a trader reaches into his pouch and finds only the newer kind. He pauses for a moment, noticing the change, but he smiles because he knows that the old currency has not truly vanished. It continues through the habits he carries, through the trust he offers others, through the calm way he measures value. The physical pieces may fade, but the lessons remain alive. Take a slow breath. Feel your body resting more deeply. Imagine time moving softly through centuries. The currency becomes a memory, then a story, then something mentioned in old texts written by careful hands. Scholars might study it one day. Children might hear about it during quiet lessons. But even if no one holds it anymore, its imprint remains in every system that follows. That is the quiet beauty of its fading. It did not disappear because it failed. It disappeared because it succeeded. It created stability, and from that stability came new forms of money, and from those new forms came entire economies that stretch across the globe. As you stay relaxed, imagine the forgotten currency like a gentle teacher who steps away once the students have learned. It does not demand recognition. It does not ask for praise. It simply lets the world move forward, carrying its lessons in invisible ways. Its influence grows even stronger as new systems build upon its foundation. The ideas of shared value, of fairness, of trustful exchange all remain, and those ideas continue shaping lives long after the currency itself has vanished from sight. Let this calm thought settle in your mind. Something small and simple, something few people remember, helped form the world we live in. Its power did not come from what it was made of, but from the peaceful cooperation it inspired. Chapter 7. How a forgotten idea became the foundation of the modern world. Stay comfortable. Keep your eyes closed, and let your breath settle into a deep, gentle rhythm. As we begin this chapter, imagine yourself drifting through time, as if you are floating through a peaceful river that connects ancient villages to the modern world. Nothing rushes, nothing pushes. You simply follow the quiet flow, feeling more relaxed with each moment. By now, the forgotten currency itself has faded into memory. The people who once used it have grown older, and new generations have stepped forward. Yet the idea behind that currency is stronger than ever. It begins to weave itself into the fabric of civilization, shaping the way communities grow, how families plan their futures, and how entire societies interact. Picture early towns becoming small cities. The hum of daily life is still gentle, still steady. People build wider roads, create larger gathering places, and rely more heavily on cooperation. They store grain for colder seasons. They share tools. They invest time and labor into building structures that will last beyond their lifetimes. All of these things are made possible because they learned long ago that shared value could bring stability. Now imagine the idea of the forgotten currency being carried forward like a soft light. Even though the object itself has disappeared, the idea glows quietly in the minds of the people. They have learned how to measure value in a consistent way. They have learned how to trust exchanges even with strangers. They have learned that saving for the future is not just practical, but comforting. This shared understanding becomes the seed for larger systems. One town begins recording trades with simple marks on clay tablets. Another begins storing money in central places for safekeeping. Another experiments with lending small amounts to help farmers rebuild after a difficult season. Each new step feels natural, as if everyone is slowly building on a foundation they barely notice. Let your breathing remain slow as you imagine these gentle advancements. There is no rush. Change arrives gradually, like the shifting of a sunrise across the sky. Over many generations, these small steps turn into something much bigger. Communities develop early forms of banks. Merchants create written agreements. Leaders establish consistent rules to keep trade fair. And while none of these people know it, they are building the earliest shapes of the financial systems that guide us today. You can almost imagine their hands, worn and steady, crafting the ideas that we now think of as everyday life, checking an account, setting aside money for later, trusting that a number written on a piece of paper represents real value. All of this exists because of the quiet lessons the forgotten currency introduced. Now imagine the world becoming even more connected. Roads stretch farther. Seas are crossed with slow, sturdy ships. Goods travel between distant cultures. Languages differ, but the concept of value remains clear because everyone now understands some form of currency. People may not all use the same money, but they understand the same foundation. Trade becomes easier. Communities grow wealthier. Knowledge travels across continents. And the simple idea that once lived in a tiny village now shapes connections between millions of people. Even though no one remembers the forgotten currency itself, its spirit continues to guide human behavior. Take another slow breath. Let your shoulders relax. Picture these early financial systems as gentle beginnings, not cold or overwhelming, but soft and human. They were built by people who wanted stability for their families, fairness in their markets, and calm in their daily lives. They were not trying to build a global financial system. They were simply trying to make life a little easier. And yet, without knowing it, they were setting the groundwork for the world we live in today. Imagine now how these ideas travel even farther in time. New inventions appear. Writing becomes more common. Navigation improves. Large cities rise. New forms of currency are created, some made of precious metals, some shaped by empires, some backed by trust alone. And through all this change, the central idea remains untouched. Value is something people agree upon together. It is a simple idea, but it is also powerful. It creates cooperation even between strangers. It gives people the ability to plan for a future they cannot see yet. It forms the basis of every economy that follows, from small markets in ancient villages to the complex financial networks that circle the modern world. Let your mind drift comfortably over this thought. The forgotten currency no longer exists, but the idea behind it has become the heartbeat of global prosperity. It has shaped everything from tiny corner stores to massive international trade routes. It has influenced how people save for their families, how they build their homes, how they invest in dreams that stretch beyond their lifetimes. The world we know is built on the quiet success of a currency no one remembers, and in a way that makes its legacy even more beautiful. It did not need fame. It did not need recognition. Its purpose was simple and gentle, and that simplicity helped shape centuries of human progress. As you stay relaxed, imagine the idea of that currency continuing forward, carried in every decision people make when they exchange, save, or value something. It is still alive now, even in the way you understand money. It is part of the calm order of your life, the way you trust the numbers you see, the way you make plans, the way you participate in the shared story of the modern world. Chapter 8. The Quiet Bridge. From ancient coins to digital money. Keep your eyes closed and let your breath soften as we step into this chapter. Picture yourself resting in a comfortable space where time feels slow and open, where the past and present blend together without any effort. The world around you is calm, and the story continues to move at a gentle, soothing pace. By now, the forgotten currency has traveled far beyond its physical form. It has shaped early towns, influenced ancient trade, inspired the creation of simple banking ideas, and guided communities toward cooperation. But its journey does not end with empires or medieval markets. It continues all the way into the modern age, where money no longer needs to be held in your hand to feel real. Imagine a modern city at night. Soft lights glow from quiet windows. Cars move slowly beneath tall buildings. A person walks down the sidewalk with a small card in their pocket, or maybe a digital wallet on their phone. When they make a purchase, no physical money changes hands. Instead, invisible information moves from one account to another, almost weightless, almost like air. Even though this world feels completely different from the ancient one, both are connected by the same idea. People trust a shared system. People believe that numbers represent value. People agree to exchange goods through a common understanding. And that understanding was born long ago from the forgotten currency. Let your breathing stay steady as you picture how money has changed. Long ago, a farmer might have held small pieces of currency in his hands, counting them one by one. Today, a person might check a glowing screen to see their balance. Nothing physical needs to be touched. The idea is enough. This shift to digital money can feel mysterious, but at its core, it is simply another evolution of what humanity learned long ago. The forgotten currency taught people that money does not need to be precious to be powerful. It taught them that value is shared belief. This same belief supports digital money today, even if the form looks completely different. Imagine lines of code flowing gently across servers in air-conditioned rooms. Picture numbers updating silently in the background of modern life. Millions of transactions happen every second, moving across the world at a speed ancient traders could never imagine. Yet every one of these transactions is part of a chain that began with that first small idea. Now picture the ancient world again. Traders walk slowly along dusty paths. They carry their simple currency in small pouches. When they exchange goods, they do so with calm trust. That same trust exists today when someone swipes a card or taps a phone. They do not think about it. They simply believe that the system works. Take another slow breath. Feel the calmness settling deeper in your body. Notice how the modern world and the ancient world seem connected in quiet, almost invisible ways. The form of money changes, but the purpose stays the same: to help people live, to help them plan, to help them support each other. Now imagine how digital money travels farther than any physical currency ever could. It moves across oceans in the time it takes for a heartbeat. It allows small businesses to sell to people who live thousands of miles away. It helps families support loved ones across borders. It creates opportunities that ancient traders could have only dreamed of. Yet the spirit behind it is familiar. It is still about trust, connection, and shared value. It is still about cooperation. It is still about bringing people together through something they all understand. If you picture yourself holding a phone with a digital wallet, you might realize something gentle and surprising. The world has become more complex, but the core idea of money has become even simpler. You no longer need to carry anything heavy. You do not need to keep track of coins or watch over them carefully. The system remembers everything for you. All you need is trust, just like the people of the ancient world needed trust in their little pieces of currency. Let yourself relax deeper into this thought. It is peaceful to imagine how a small ancient idea quietly grew into something so essential. It shaped every era. It connected every generation. And it continues to support billions of lives every single day. The forgotten currency may have vanished from the earth, but its influence has become stronger than ever. Every electronic transaction carries its legacy. Every online store, every digital investment, every instant payment, even every moment you check your balance, they all whisper the same ancient lesson. Money is a story we agree to share. And because we share it, we grow together. Before this chapter fades, imagine one more scene. A young person in the modern world sits at a desk late at night. They check their digital balance, budget their expenses, and make plans for their future. They may have never heard of the forgotten currency. They may not know anything about ancient markets, but they are part of the same long story, guided by the same gentle principles. Take one more slow breath. Let the air settle comfortably in your lungs. The bridge between ancient coins and digital money is long and quiet, built across centuries with steady hands and hopeful hearts. Just stay right where you are. Eyes closed, breath slow. Everything around you becoming softer, quieter, lighter. The forgotten currency, with its tiny, quiet lessons, has traveled all the way from ancient markets to the digital world you know today. It has touched every era, every exchange, every moment where humans trusted one another with something of value. And now, as the story slowly settles, imagine that little idea resting gently in your mind. Not heavy, not demanding, just peaceful, just enough to remind you that the world has always moved forward through simple cooperation and shared understanding. Picture the ancient traders fading into the distance, their footsteps quiet, their journeys complete. The villages grow still, the markets fall silent. The warm glow of old fires dims softly into the night, and the modern world grows quieter too. Screens dim, the city lights soften. The steady hum of life turns into a quiet whisper. You are floating between both worlds now, ancient, modern, calm, connected by the same gentle thread that has guided humanity across centuries. Let your breath slow just a little more. Inhale. Hold softly. Exhale. And feel your body growing heavier, sinking deeper into the bed or chair beneath you. All tension melting away, like sand slipping through fingers. The story has reached a peaceful pause. The idea has been shared. The world feels a little quieter, a little warmer. You have nothing left to do now. Nothing left to think about. Only rest. Only calm. Only the soft, drifting quiet that waits behind your eyelids. If sleep comes, let it come. If your thoughts wander, let them wander gently. Everything is safe. Everything is calm. Everything is slowing down. The story fades here, like a candle slowly dimming at the end of the night. And you fade with it. Slowly, quietly, comfortably, into a deeper and deeper rest. Good night, Don. Just stay right where you are. Eyes closed. Breath slow. Everything around you becoming softer, quieter, lighter. The forgotten currency, with its tiny, quiet lessons, has traveled all the way from ancient markets to the digital world you know today. It has touched every era, every exchange, every moment where humans trusted one another with something of value. And now, as the story slowly settles, imagine that little idea resting gently in your mind. Not heavy, not demanding, just peaceful, just enough to rmind you that the world has always moved forward through simple cooperation and shared understanding. Picture the ancient traders fading into the distance, their footsteps quiet, their journeys complete. The villages grow still, the markets fall silent. The warm glow of old fires dims softly into the night, and the modern world grows quieter too. Screens dim, the city lights soften. The steady hum of life turns into a quiet whisper. You are floating between both worlds now, ancient, modern, calm, connected by the same gentle thread that has guided humanity across centuries. Let your breath slow just a little more. Inhale, hold softly, exhale, and feel your body growing heavier, sinking deeper into the bed or chair beneath you. All tension melting away like sand slipping through fingers. The story has reached a peaceful pause. The idea has been shared. The world feels a little quieter, a little warmer. You have nothing left to do now, nothing left to think about. Only rest, only calm, only the soft, drifting quiet that waits behind your eyelids. If sleep comes, let it come. If your thoughts wander, let them wander gently. Everything is safe. Everything is calm. Everything is slowing down. The story fades here like a candle slowly dimming at the end of the night. And you fade with it. Slowly, quietly, comfortably, into a deeper and deeper rest. Good night.